My name is Ahmed Al-Badini. I am producer in Egypt and in Middle East, and I have a big company for organize this culture and art events here, and also I organize Miss Arab World. My question, we looking for something new. We want to produce a video clip talking about the woman, Arab woman, and what she suffering from the terrorist. And we would like to have some foreigners, good dancer foreigners, to work with us in this video. That's why I came here. And to show the people, it is an international case, and we together in these things. We talking about we talking about the Arab, and in my good luck, my daughter she dance also. She is a good dancer. And we want to introduce these things, but my question is, it can be any possibility to be we have a script for this dance script to what? Improvisation. Yes, we need a script. It must be, a script, because it will be like a story. And the second question, we can make this movement faster than this?
Probably.
You know what? Faster is meaning because it is short. So we have to have a movement faster than this.
Yes, but you're talking about composition. You have previous ideas about what you want, and we try to discover it during when we are doing it. So that's a different point of view, different desire in a way.
It's
we understand your research, but probably here it's a place just to meet. There is there is no answer. It's just a place for meeting. So perhaps we have time after to speak about that, if you want, precisely. Yeah. But just now it's a moment to exchange about reaction or question about it.
I just say,
not to produce
about, no, I talking about something. I talk about the script. If there is any possible to have a script in this kind of dance.
We are the script. In a way, we are the script because Patricia make a soundtrack which describe different processes of this dance. So we had to, in a way, give a kind of incarnation of those ideas, propositions she made. So we have kind of score in a way. It's a kind of score in which we were traveling during the dance because we were listening as you to the soundtrack. That was kind of script in a way.
That's what I say. It's meaning you have a plan before you dance.
What?
You have a plan, script to do what you do.
No. The script is the moment.
Oh.
The moment is telling us what to do. Yeah.
And okay.
Maybe you should try physically, and then you have some answer. We can try after.
Get guided by some sort of music.
Music.
Yeah. Or.
I mean, this dance is happening between the people. So if there is music, it's a musician. It's a person playing music.
Yeah.
So for sure it's possible to meet a musician and to invent what's happening in the moment with a musician.
Are you guided sometimes use this with sound?
Yes, sure.
As well.
Yes.
Different layers of impulses sensorial information, like the skin give us sensorial information, then the music give sensorial information, what you can relate to. It's through space, but you are still in contact in a way. Where start the contact moment with person?
Yeah, but nobody is guiding nobody. That's the center of the dance.
The tendency with the music is probably that the dancer have to go to the rhythm or follow something from the music. So in this meeting, that will be like a common place to find between the music and the...
No, I was thinking also in terms of improvisational music, just little bits of sound. That,
that's fantastic. When we meet in the jam, for example, some musicians love that kind of chaos, because when you see maybe 100 people or 20, even 10, it's a lot of chaos dancing, and they enjoy how to find a musical meeting proposition in this chaos to make meanings, to make relation. And some others, they don't like it. So, but there's musicians that really enjoy, and we enjoy to meet them during the dance. It happens a lot. But first, during, for example, for the teaching, we come back to the basic, which is what's happening between two persons when they are falling one to each other.
Okay, first of all, I don't know if I can do that. But the thing is, I want to question myself more, like I want to meet with the thing. So I have a question, like if it's taking the dancing from Venus to Saturn, for example, like from the 7th dimension to the 3rd, where it's like everything is born like in the same time, and like the promised land of the like the dancing, I mean. You know what I mean? I can explain better. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. When you say that, I have this remembering when the dance is going fast and everything is slow.
Okay.
That's the place which is reminds me.
Okay. Yes. I think, for example, like I think that dancing was like before this technique was like a creation process. Like the initiator, like the artist, he used like a language, like this is, yes, he used the language in different things and in creating like a world or something. But I think this is something else. I think this is taking like this is cutting four dimensions. Like I mean the thing with the mind. Like you free your mind from the thing, and you just born, like you just manifest the creation process on your body, like directly, without like without judging or without like you just witness on your body, like you just do witnessing on. Is that the thing? Yes, thank you.
To go to this place,
Yeah,
to keep looking, and then you can see different strategy appearing. Okay, this is what I'm practicing, and I come back to this place, and coming back to this place.
Yes,
you describing. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Hi.
No.
You have mentioned that this comes from a kind of Buddhist philosophy, and then when you were dancing, I just thought it can be applied in life, in daily life, and in whole life, in kind to be moved by physical forces, or to move with it. So my question is, I'm not a dancer, and I'm trying to work on myself, on my inner peace, or my inner consciousness. So how I can benefit from this in daily life, in every movement? How I can be very aware of my body, even if I'm not a dancer. I don't have this opportunity. This is my question. And thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that life is a dance. So if you just have this desire, it's there. You could wash your dishes and be dancing, because inside you have this energy going on. So we don't need to do special movement to do dance. Dance is just a state of being, a state of awareness. So I'm sure you're dancing. And otherwise, if we really speak about the practice, it's an easy practice, in fact. We show it, we show different things there, but we can also dance very slowly and listening. We don't need to do big things. The dancing can be even with somebody who cannot move. I mean, the feeling of the dance is the dancing first.
Something that Patricia didn't mention, she mentioned a lot of things, but these dance have been also developed in the world, for example, for blind people, because Steve Paxton was really interested to, I don't know, I'm talking for him, about the senses. So to share the practice with blind people was really relevant for him, because to teach an Aikido role to a blind person is really like a challenge, so, as a teacher too. And so there is also this dance is shared with handicapped people, you know, in rolling chair, disabled. Thank you. We have experiences with kids who don't have languages. So I think it's part of this form to keep researching new place to share, try.
Hi. First of all, I would like to thank you so much for being here and for all your nice effort. Second, I'd like to ask, how long did it take for both of you to be able to have this fluidity for both of you working on stage, that fluent? Second question, I apologize. It's a question for myself as well. To be able to kick myself out of the comfort zone, it takes a lot of time to be able to move without thinking and analyzing and thinking of the next movement and these stuff. And then when it comes to contact improvisation, you need to take care of someone dancing with you and be able to guarantee the safety of this person. The question for myself and for you as well, how can you work on that, kicking yourself out of your comfort zone and at the same time being able to guarantee the safety of your partner? Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, we don't really guarantee the safety of the partner, I'm sorry. In the practice, we learn to fall, and we learn how to manage imprevisible things happening, unpredictable. So, So to go out of the comfort zone is really a necessity, because you get annoyed after a while when you get back to your habit. So you are pushed to go in the place where you don't know, because it's only in those places that you can discover something. But it's not easy, because habit is really a dictator for us. And even in contact improvisation, where we try to go out of habits, there are habits building up. So it's a constant work to be aware of what's happening to you, and as soon as you are aware of an habit, you can accept it and then try to go somewhere else. But it's the awareness is the only tool to try to go out of what you know. As soon as you know, I know that, okay, then you recognize it and it opens a new field, or you are pushed to a new field to discover. And I don't know, but I think there is no time, no duration to get to fluidity. It can be from the first dance, but it's there. I mean, if it's something you like to dance, it will come in your dance. And then, yes, you learn how to manage the falling and how to manage the fact to be surprised or frightened and go on being confident, those things. But it's quite a simple dance, in fact, really.
I would like to add some criteria, what we heard before. At first, this kind of dance cannot be written. You cannot do it tomorrow evening, it's different to this evening. So, but if you want to practice it, I could recommend you to take your persons, your dancers that you who are available for you, and say, now begin to move. We will see what will happen. And these two both experts should see it and should discuss afterwards with your dancers. To the other, this man just left the room. With the music could destroy this kind of moving totally. Once we did it in Stuttgart with young musicians. And nobody knows before what will happen. But the only agreement was that one musician had one dancer. And the dancer or the danceress, they had to hear her or his instrument. So there was a kind of influence, very interesting, but the audience didn't understand what will happen. And this is what she asked. You have no benefit. You have only awareness about yourself. And that's great. This is the influence of interpretation. And I, by myself, I learned it in some performances, yes. Before I could not imagine what this is. Sometimes we hear when musicians do it, improvisation, yeah? And meantime I understand what happens. But by the way, what you said is not totally correct. Of course, you guided the other, and he guided you. Small movements of your body. So he learned, he felt, now it comes another moving, and you felt what he began with his backside or with his neck or with his head and so on. But of course, then we saw your faces. They reacted one to each other, to the other one. But thank you very much for this performance. Well, it was great, really great.
So there is a lot of people now is working with the improvisation contact thing, but maybe it is not like body contact improvisation. There's some people start to work with a lot of martial arts things. So what I would like to ask about, do you have the idea of these words like breaking, cutting, stopping, all of this, or you should have all of this flow? Like there's some martial arts, it depends on the context thing, something like Wing Chun or something like, but in the same time they have this idea of cutting, breaking, and I think this some dancers start to use something like this, like playing fight and all of these things.
Sistema is a martial art coming from Russia. It's an improvised based martial art. So there's no kata, it's really interesting. But once I was with a guy doing this, and I could see this kind of same physical intelligence in a way, or even sensibility. But the goal is so different when you give your center rather than to protect it anyway. Even in Aikido, the person, the opponent, is trying to replace you by himself. And the way is to how to do it the most smoothly and to bring the people to to the space. But it's still another project. So I think you can be informed, but to keep clear what you want in your dance, what is the meeting, what is the purpose of the dance. Because this dance was informed from a martial art, so we have to keep clear about where we want to go with those information coming from other techniques, probably. Is it meaningful?
Yeah, but it's still the possibility of doing some, like, if you're during like your improvisation and like you're just using something like cutting, or like, you know what I mean, like, okay, like you use this flow sync to go to the ground. What if I just cut the energy doing something like all of this? It's possible in like
all is possible.
Or just
you just should come and dance and learn us.
All is possible, but it's based on cooperation. If you cooperate to make the dance happen, then all is possible. If it serves to dancing, what happens between the partners?
Yeah, it's not a fight, but in the same time, I can use it. Like, I just was thinking about the quality. Like, we always see the flow, but in the same time, do you refuse the idea of cutting and breaking and all of this, even if it's using a lot of contact, or it's okay? Like, just was my question.
It's like there is an aesthetic question behind, or an aesthetic desire to sing some other forms or rhythm, and it will be nice to bring it in dance and to see how we can tune together to this desire, and how my own desire relate to yours, and we can dance that together.
Thank you.
I mean, from the perspective of a contact duet, not from every perspective.
Hello. So I thought this was amazing, especially the presentation part where you were like talking about what you guys were doing, and it's still an improv. I don't really have a question, but I'm surprised that this started in 1970s. Like, it feels like something very natural, like when you put two kids to play together, or people in intimate situations, like this whole, I don't know, it feels natural. Like, I mean, I danced like this with few people in situations, and I didn't know that this was called contact improvisation, for example. So how come 1970s? Like, was there anything before that? That's it. Thanks.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll. The rock music, the rock dancing.
Yeah, not with that much contact all the time, right?
Elle parle vraiment de la des enfants. Elle dit, je vois des enfants, j'ai fait ces danses-là. Elles existent.
Yeah, it was existing for sure. I mean, the dance just put together different field of movement, from children, from animals, from martial art, from tai chi, from yoga, from dance also. It's just putting things together, and then a new form is happening, but it exists before, for sure.
It's like, probably it's like to make visible something that exists in a way, a certain way, which is the joy to have physical interaction in a really simple way, and using this part of us which is common, is the gravity relation to Earth and the skin, and always so obvious in a way, and to rediscover it and finding a way to make it dance and give it a name. Make it
not just give a name, but also make a tool to discover new things on an aesthetic level. Not on, it's a play, but also it's a way to discover which could come new from two bodies playing together.
I have the chance to meet Simone Forti 2 years ago, and to dance for her. And when she was doing the workshop first, before we learned the repertoire, she was saying something like, I don't know what is happening today with contact improvisation. There's a lot of fluidity, always a flow, and never cut, never stop. And there is always taking care of awareness about the center. But before, when we start, we were, like you showed the video on the 70s, we were giving on center, giving on everything, and now it's so soft and so. And then she's also explained how Tai Chi helps her to keep on going and working with her disease. So there is also an interesting video between Simone Forti and Stephen Paxton 1 year ago. And what I meant is, for me, I think it's interesting to get the balance between the first video and the process that we can see now in today's with you, and with your body and age, because there's always a question with age and dance. But that's, I'm just giving my opinion. The need of cutting things or to stop the flow. The need that as a spectator, when we are here, we are expecting something. And the reverse side that Steve Paxton involves as, now you are spectator, but we're not expecting to please you. So there's the title of the performance that will start like, you come and you see what we are doing, right? So, but in our days, it looks like we came back. Like, you know, in our days with the pictures, with the impact of the pictures and photos and everything, and media, internet, there's something that we came back to the show up. We need to show up. And there's also something that we want to listen, but there's also moving inside. And that's why I'm thinking, there is no solution or answer. I might wanted to cut some flow, because as a spectator, once I would say, in my perception, oh, now I understand. Oh, okay. So I can be in the comfort zone, right? And also this is something about like an initiation, like you go in traditional dance, like the ritual. There's something like we can see you joy, but we are from outside. We participate, but there's something also from outside. What I mean is, this is hard. What I mean is, when you see Simone Forti and Stephen Paxton, when they talked, Stephen Paxton, you can see the urge to do something. And Simone Forti is like going to another side of the martial, but it's not martial movement, it's martial perception. And there's something that she goes in the wall, in between, and then she calmed down the urge of Steve Paxton to move and to show up something. And I think maybe if we want to, I mean, if we have the chance to see life as a dance, even if it's to show up as a producer, even if it's to enjoy the inner movement, I think it's a big process to find the balance between the first video that you show up in the 70s and what you are keep on doing at that time with your body at your age. Yeah, that's it, sorry. But I had that specific question, but maybe another time. Thank you.
I mean, here, our task was just to try to transmit contact improvisation. It was not about us or our own aesthetic taste, even if through the dancing, for sure, we share it. But we try just to be the medium.
There's a paradox to be in a theater to try to share that. That's the setup.
Yes, so thank you very much. By me too, I had the chance to work with Yvonne Reiner and Steve Paxton, the both, for the reconstruction of CPAD, the Continuous Project Altered Daily, and also the Satisfying Lover. It was in the late 90s with the Quatuor Knust in France. And I want to answer the question, the fact saying that it happened in the 70s and how come it didn't happen before, or the movement was not done before like that. I think it's important to also think about art and history and development. Painting was in the cavern, I mean, and then we had different moments in the paint history. So it's important to readjust and also in the history of art as well. What this dance represents in the history. And what's happening now as a heritage as well and as a transformation. So this is why, of course, when you see Simone Forti, she's carrying her, as an author, she's carrying her own art work. You too, and it's not the same at the same time. It's not the same place, so it's difficult to compare. Our time is not, and what's happening in the 70s, what they were all questioning all together. It was a big movement of art and big revolution in art as well. And this, for example, this momentum that we can see is reminding me when they were talking, like mainly Yvonne Reiner, talking about the fact that they didn't want to see any virtuosity in art, in movement, in order to see everyone at the same dynamic, not to have a virtuose. And because it was representing power, domination, that was also what they were against at that time, with the question of the war. So it's also connected to a lot of artistic issue, I can say. Voilà.
Thank you.